everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Hodem, and I'm joined by Jeremy Forbes. Alexander Lacazette. I don't know who it is, actually.
Or Uncle Poppy, whichever one you want to throw out there.
Yes, Uncle Poppy. Uncle Poppy's joining me. He's had a nice day at the park, and now he's going to come in and talk to us about the Manchester United 3-2 win over Liverpool in the FA Cup fourth round. Uncle Poppy, what did you make?
I actually really enjoyed the match, not just because we won, but I did see what I thought was exactly going to happen with Ollie's starting this way. I think he did not specifically start Fred because he wanted to have a more attacking minded thing and less like just ultra defensive game like what we did against them in the previous match that we had. We still kind of went with what we knew our overall kind of goal would have been, which is the counterattack. But holistically, we seemed less cagey. Of course, the first 10 minutes / 15 minutes is always going to be cagey with United and Liverpool. But I think we were less cagey holistically, his approach. I would also venture to say, sadly to say, in my opinion, this was a great opportunity for Van der Beek, but he didn't really shine at all, and he seemed to just be non-existent. And that one chance when he had running down the right, and he just, instead of having that hunger and drive to go, even like how Mason Greenwood did a couple times, even when he missed, he still had the hunger and drive to go. He kind of just pulled it back and the attack stalled. So it was a little disappointing from that end to see him there. What do you think?
It's interesting you bring up that Van de Beek incident because I read on Twitter, Samuel Luckhurst, who's covers the team for Manchester Evening News, he tweeted that apparently Ole was very upset at that incident and was yelling at him that he needs to keep running. Yeah. And then he made it clear at halftime he sought him out and to keep running. And I saw that and I was like, I think if he plays in Ajax, who are dominating league matches, who are the top in the Eredivisie, that's the move to make. And maybe that's why he hasn't been playing, is because Ole is trying to get him more in tune with what he wants. Now, if he doesn't see a passes on and we're playing a team like Burnley, for instance, then yeah, maybe turn back, keep possession, something else will turn up. That's great. But I think against Liverpool, against the top teams in those situations where Ole tends to favor the counter, he wants you to keep going and put, run at the defender and hopefully create that opportunity or half chance to potentially score. Having said that, though, I know our first two goals were very much counterattacking goals, but I thought our team was more set up, and we had, you can look at the stats, we had a lot more possession than we did when we went to Anfield a week ago. And that was very encouraging. I was very excited to see that. And the third goal, we had a bit of possession. Cavani wins the free kick, and Bruno just hits a wizard of a set piece there to score. Yeah, give us the win.
And Cavani could have also had another goal with the header that came off the post. Yeah. And I was a little bit disappointed for him that he didn't get that goal, because I do felt like holistically he had a really good game for us, and he was encouraging, giving tips, even with Greenwood. You want to see that. He spoke with him on one of those chances where Greenwood went down that side, and that's good, because he needs to be that type of player. I think Ibrahimovic was similar to that for us when he was there. He showed the class and then wanted to encourage the young boys. Okay, in that position, this is what I would have probably done. At the end of the day, you just get them thinking. I'm not saying anything that Greenwood did on those two chances were wrong, but you get them thinking.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like he chose the wrong option on those chances. But that's beside. He was getting himself into those chances. He eventually got a goal.
Mm-hmm.
I just he's had a few, by his early standards, I'd say poor games,
He has. I agree with you.
uninfluential games.
Yeah.
So for him just to get in those positions was encouraging in itself. And maybe he chose the wrong option. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting through on goal, getting his goal. Is a very well taken goal.
Yep.
When he was through
Which
there.
which which for me still is going to be encouraging for him and a good sign that no matter what, even with his form dipping slightly, he still has great finishing qualities with both feet.
Yeah, he does. And the second goal, picking out Rashford. Okay,
Yeah.
Martin Tyler wanted to put the blame on Liverpool's young defender Reece Williams, and yeah, he probably could have gotten more on the ball, but
Mhm.
he put the ball in this place it needed for the defender to be under pressure, and for if the defender does miss it, for Rashford to run onto it and put it away. So if he puts it further up the pitch, Allison will be there to sweep it up.
Yep.
If he doesn't put as much on it as he needs to, then it'd be a much easier ball for Williams to deal with. So the goal and an assist from Mason Greenwood, very, very ecstatic for that.
Yeah. It was good for him. He definitely needed that. I'd probably start him in the Europa League as well,
Yeah,
and
well,
get him to keep pushing on like that.
that's coming back up on the horizon, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I think he'll still get a couple games between now and then.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think this performance hasn't hurt um, his stock, if you will. So he was one of the first two players withdrawn from the match, but I don't know how much he's really played lately because I don't think he's played with the reserves, has he? So
Mm,
we know he hasn't
yeah.
played a great deal with the first team.
No, but you would kind of expect that change anyways. And
Mhm.
clearly the manager was happy with him, so it wasn't an unhappy change, and it didn't really look like an injury change. So it's probably just you put in a good showing, give you a little rest, and then you'll be in my mind for the next match, whether it's like a 60 minute come on or a start, depending upon what he's trying to do in that match.
Definitely. And well, it was around the 65th minute. I think it was 2-2 shortly
Mhm.
after Salah's equalizer. He took Greenwood off and he took Van de Beek off,
Mhm.
and he brought on um, Fred, and he brought on Bruno.
Mhm.
And Bruno ended up being our match winner yet again.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, there was two players who played last Sunday and played today who I thought were much worse today than they actually were last week. And
Mhm.
they were Luke Shaw and Scott McTominay.
Oh yeah, Scott McTominay was on the top of my list. Um, it's tough for me to say Luke Shaw just because I know him and Rashford were combining very well and putting a lot of pressure on Liverpool. Yes, defensively, I think he was a little bit off, and he didn't pocket Salah like he did in that game. But that can also happen when you do what exactly I felt that we did do as a club, which was shift from a mindset of wanting to be more defensively minded.
Yeah, and Fred, I thought was poor last week. When he came on, I thought he was much better than he was last week. And
Mhm.
after his introduction, I thought that McTominay was more relaxed, more composed out there, and really Shaw after that point was much better. So while like you look at those two subs on paper, you might be thinking, well, those are kind of defensive subs. I think it added more solidity for us to keep them out and still go forward and get the winning goal, which we did.
Yeah, because what it probably does, even though you don't really want to see that holistically, because it puts a worrying sign to you. But what it does is it creates that familiarity. Like, okay, this is what we are familiar with. These players, we have a greater idea of where they're going to be, what they're going to do. So you're a lot more comfortable to play your game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why I say that's a little bit worrying is because you want your players holistically to be interchangeable. Where when you take off players, they still feel comfortable playing with the same players on now as they did with the ones before, or vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. You don't want to get it where they're only showing their best games when they're playing with, a specific player that they feel more comfortable with, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I totally get that. You want them to be comfortable no matter what. But I find it interesting. Jurgen Klopp is going to play his 4-3-3 formation no matter what. He
Hmm.
played Curtis Jones out on the left from the start instead of Mane. He had absolutely no influence at all. His substitution before we made that double change was to bring on Mane for Wijnaldum and drop Curtis Jones into Wijnaldum's spot. There's really no plan B in terms of formation with Jurgen Klopp. He's going to play his formation, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, he's not going to change anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what I like, and some people, a lot of people probably don't like this. I like seeing, being able to change shapes. After we made that double change, we went from our more normal 4-2-3-1. We played more of a 4-3-3 with. I feel like Bruno is playing kind of as a false nine in that position with
Uh-huh.
Cavani and Rashford, maybe further wide,
Hmm.
coming in off the wings to provide support. But I like seeing those different changes because it gives the opponent something to think about. And I feel like today,
Mm.
with moving
Very
those
good.
different pieces and with players like Pogba switched out onto the right.
Yeah.
You have Bruno, of course, as that false nine. You give the defense and the midfield for Liverpool something else to think about in terms of
Mhm.
where players will be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
No,
think,
that's good.
yeah, I think you play a same formation, whether you have great players or not, and Liverpool has great players, you have a pretty good sense of where they're going to be coming from. And
Mhm.
when you have the ability to change a formation in match, suddenly players are coming at you from different spots, and it can be difficult to mark.
Okay. Yep, yep. I have two other things that now that I'm thinking about back on the game. Two specific things to note about specific players. I was actually, me. He's not really my number one. I'm not his number one fan, but Pogba today, he showed a little bit of something different that I really appreciated, and which actually did lead towards our goal there when he was willing to throw himself in there and be a little bit more defensive and break up that ball and got it going. I think sometimes before he was just so much more kind of relaxed. Oh, I lost the ball. Okay, let me just come back. But I do feel like there's something growing there where he is getting more and more invested in the title, the potential title challenge of United, and the
Mhm.
excitement that's growing around the club with the team becoming a lot more uh, gelled and a lot more dynamic.
You bring up a good point because that's something I've been seeing from him since the Villa match just after Christmas. He seems to be more engaged in terms of not just wanting to pick up the ball and playing these Hollywood passes.
Yeah,
He seems to be wanting to get into scraps. Especially, the Villa match, he gets elbowed intentionally square in the face by Tyrone Mings, and he got his treatment, but he was good. He was ready for the fight, and he didn't
yeah.
let that shirk him. Against Burnley, again, their physical battle. He wanted that. He wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And you saw that against Fulham again. He worked hard, ended up scoring that fantastic winner. And again today, yeah, he didn't get an assist or a goal, but he put in the work rate necessary for us to get over to win these big matches against Liverpool or City or whoever we play. He needs to put in that defensive work.
Yeah. And I think his play as a whole encouraged the players, because even in that one build-up play where he almost scored, uh, they were looking and excited to be looking back to pass it to him, like right on the edge of the box. And yeah, he did a good strike to it. Sadly it was a little wide, but um, I think that is also encouraging. They're happy to see that he's playing for the team as a whole, and
Mhm.
not just wanting to look like the superstar every minute.
Yeah, yeah, he's putting in the work. I think he understands his role and what he needs to bring to the team. Um, there's a level of work ethic that you need to bring first and foremost, and then once you meet that threshold, then you'll be able to show your quality. And to your point, I think if I was playing in that squad, I would pick up on his increased work ethic. I mean, maybe he does that in training. I don't know. But in terms of in the match, I would pick up on
Mhm.
that and be encouraged by it and want to get him as involved as possible.
Yeah. Now, the other player I was considering, and this is going to be interesting to you because I know how passionate you are about this position.
Hmm.
You had some experience in it in the past. The goalkeeper role. I thought
Right.
Henderson had a pretty terrible game and a game to forget. Even though Salah got that second goal there, yes, there was a little bit of breakdown. Maybe Cavani shouldn't have done that quick pass the way he tried to, but if it had come off, it would have been brilliant, and we would have been off to the races again. I still would fault him for that second goal and not really Cavani losing the ball. You shouldn't be letting it go through your legs like that. Like, I felt like if De Gea was in goal there, he would have gotten down a lot quicker, and he probably would have saved that.
Okay.
What do you think as a
I do
as a
agree.
past goalkeeper?
It's just funny because we've said, like, you, me, Patrick on this channel, we wanted to see Henderson more in goal and stuff like that. We're not necessarily convinced by De Gea. It's funny you say that because I do actually agree that if De Gea was in goal, he kick saves that easily.
Yep, yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, I both goals I felt like, especially the second one, the goalkeeper could have done better. The first one he could have kept himself bigger, and maybe if
Oh
Salah
yes,
goes,
I thought that as well. I forgot about that. Yeah,
yeah, then maybe Salah goes for the chip, it hits him in the chest, but then again Salah might not go for the chip and just hit it straight through his legs or something like that. So I'm not going to fault him for that necessarily. But yeah, the second one, you see the one angle, the ball, it's not, he didn't strike it
uh-huh.
venomously.
Yeah.
And the one
I think
angle
he,
from the other side of the pitch, you could see the ball just headed straight for his foot, and then he moves it out of his way, thinking he's
yeah.
kick saving it. And
And
yeah,
I think
that
he
I
was
mean,
frustrated with himself. You could see it when he went into the goal to pick the ball up. So
yeah,
it
I
was
would
one
be.
of those plays where I think he was more upset with himself than Liverpool actually scoring.
Yeah, you said I did play this position growing up, so I have probably as much knowledge of that position as I would any position on the pitch, which might still not be that much. But
Give
if I
yourself
was
more credit.
well, if I was in goal for the first one, I wouldn't necessarily be upset. I kind of, tip my hat to the strike. But yeah, the second one especially, and I was kind of like De Gea. I got, especially as I played more, I got really good at least making saves with my feet. I realized that
Mhm.
was a valuable asset. You can make saves with your feet, and at the same time you make saves with your feet, the ball flies, 40 yards away. So that's pretty nice as a
Yeah.
goalkeeper. But so yeah, that second one, if I was in goal and I gave that one up, I would be very disappointed in myself. Would I say he's at primarily at fault? No. I thought
Okay.
both goals there was three or four people you could pin some blame to, and that tends to be
Okay.
how
Okay.
some goals are made. There you have Cavani giving the ball away. I thought Shaw could have covered better should have followed Salah more on that. And then you have like Maguire and Lindelof there who can't get close to the ball, or at least, get a piece of it to nick it away. So there's little bits and pieces there that, there's a little bit of blame to go around, but at the end of the day, there's no one completely at fault. And you just move on and you try to pick up the pieces and get the next goal.
Okay. Do you think he needs more games than what he's actually getting to keep his level up higher?
I actually feel like Ole's done a good job at this point, giving him games.
Okay.
He's played it. I feel like he's played enough over the past couple months, in particular, to feel part of the squad, if you will. But to, not just that, but to also develop some type of rhythm, if you will.
Yeah.
He's not coming in once every 2 months, or maybe come in and play 2 games if De Gea gets injured, and expected to perform at a high level. I feel like Ole's done a good job, at least over these last 2 months, of rotating the players, and Henderson's gotten a couple of Premier League starts, as well in that time. So he's not just necessarily a cup goalkeeper. So I feel like his maybe a perceived lack of playing time, and given what we saw today, I don't think those are necessarily correlated, because I feel like Ole has given him a decent amount of playing time.
Okay.
So the one probably bad part about today's win was that Rashford had to be subbed off with about 5 minutes to go for Martial. A couple minutes earlier, he went running after a ball and he kind of pulled up and started skipping.
Was that the one with the bricks?
Oh no, this was later.
Okay.
The bricks could have played a part. That could have been a trickle down effect to what happened here. But there was a ball played over the top that he was never going to get anyway. He started running after it and he pulled up kind of lame.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't catch that one per se.
Yeah.
Then sidetracked by something else.
Yeah, a couple minutes later, then Martial came on and Rashford went straight down the tunnel. And at that point, he wasn't really limping much at all.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Jeremy, that's just maybe a minor little knock, and hopefully not something that's going to keep him out long term for a few weeks, maybe a game or two, but not 4 or 5 games.
I agree with you, because I felt like today's game would have encouraged him, because the last couple of games before this one, I felt like he was having a little bit of issues with his first time touch. And he did a lot better with that in this game. So that would have been encouragement to give him a little kick on for the next couple of games. So I hope, like you, that he, it's not anything that will create a niggle that he'll have to, lose his stride. Talking about that one incident with the bricks, I actually think there was 2 moments in that game where commentators just wanted to seemingly give Fabinho the benefit of the doubt while not actually looking at the play that well. Because I really think there was a little bit cynical action in his play that led Rashford into that crash. And then 2, they wanted to just say that no way that there should have been a call for a free kick on his action with Cavani, but there was so much contact, and they're like, well, he was looking to go down. But no, he put his knee right into like the back of what it would have been his
left
calf
leg.
Leg. So of course it's supposed to be a kick. So I don't understand why people are just kind of so enamored with Fabinho in that role that I think that they're missing out on some of these bad actions or plays that he's making.
I'm going to disappoint you, because I feel like I'm one of those people who is enamored with Fabinho in that role. I feel like I feel like after Van Dijk, he's actually their best center back.
Mm.
And that first incident with Rashford, I mean, Rashford takes him to the ground and he rolls over, and his legs were raised, but I didn't really see necessarily a kick out at Rashford to cause him to like that. That was something I felt like the referee on the pitch got right, and it wasn't something that VAR needed to have a look at.
Yeah.
And then the thing with Cavani, I didn't like that foul to me is never a yellow card. I mean, he's going in, he's not in that position. I think as a center back, that's not a place where you make a cynical foul, on the,
Mhm.
20 yards out from your goal.
Mhm.
And I think he's trying to get the ball back. He's making an honest attempt to get the ball back. He does take Cavani out, and it was a clear free kick, and we scored off of it. But I don't think that was another yellow card or anything like that. So
Okay.
I mean, I understand the commentators that we had there, maybe their viewpoint that they didn't make too much of either incident, because I
Okay.
really didn't, and I didn't really want him sent off either because I thought it was a fantastic match to watch.
Hmm. Okay. Well, we'll see how the season goes on. We'll agree to disagree.
Okay. Well, speaking of how the season goes on, we progress to the fifth round of the FA Cup, and Liverpool go out. Do you think this game, maybe how we approached it, the result, does it have an effect? Do you think it'll have a carryover effect into the league?
Yes, I do actually. And my potential controversial outcome of this match will be that I think it's a good result for both managers. If I'm being honest, I
Really?
think Klopp could care less about the English Cups, so I don't think he's going to be worried about getting knocked out of that at all. And I think he's actually going to be happy that he got knocked out with Mo Salah scoring 2 goals, because I think he will hope that that boosts Mo Salah's confidence for the league, and that would have been what he would have wanted more than anything else. I think if they had lost 1-0 or 2-0 and hadn't scored any goals, he would have not been happy with this game at all. But actually, I think this is a good result for both teams because they don't want to stay in the competition holistically, in my opinion. And two, they want to show more focus to the league and to the Champions League, but they need something to grasp to give them confidence for either of those two matches. And then for United, I think why it's good for us was we played in a way that I think we should have played in the first game against Liverpool, and we got some positive results from doing that. So I do actually think this was a good result for both managers, and that it will potentially help both teams going forward uh, through the second half of this season. United probably more than Liverpool, but it could potentially help them.
Um, uh, I'm not going to say you're wrong on either of those points, because you're right in the sense that Jurgen Klopp in his 5+ years at Liverpool has shown zero, in my opinion, desire to win domestic cup. Um, and I guess if you eventually win the Champions League and then win the Premier League, then you don't necessarily have to do that. So he's probably not going to be upset that he's out of the FA Cup tonight. And you're right, he probably will be pleased that Salah scores those 2 goals. But here's where I differ.
Hmm.
I think you look at how we played today and you look at how we played at Anfield. Both of Salah's goals kind of they weren't necessarily counterattacks, but they came after Liverpool when the ball back up the pitch. And at Liverpool, we didn't really give the ball away deep that much, if at all. And we kept those low blocks that Klopp hates, and they couldn't find a way through. And then Burnley do the same thing, and they end up getting a smash and grab. Burnley do.
Yeah,
And that's what Liverpool have struggled against, is the teams that are playing defensively. And I thought we didn't play defensively today.
yeah, I
Um,
agree with you.
and especially from the start. I think after the double substitution was made around the 65th minute, I thought it was a little bit more of a pragmatic approach from Ole, which I understood. But I thought we were coming out to actually play. And I didn't think like at Anfield, we kind of came out, especially that first half. I didn't think we had any intentions to play. We were just going to sit back and then hopefully hit them on a break.
Hmm.
Um, Second half in that game was a little differently. So I think if Klopp analyzes it, yes, it's great that Salah scores, but he's already their leading goal scorer this season. What is he tied? I think he's tied for first or tied for second, something like that in the league still, even with his supposed poor form. And I thought
Hmm.
Salah was their best player when he
Yeah.
came on against Burnley in midweek. So I don't know if once I think tonight he's fine. Klopp is, but if he's one of those managers, like I think he is, and will go back and review the film and review the game, he might be like, we still have a problem here.
Mm.
But I think he
Interesting.
is. I think he is pleased that he doesn't have the added fixtures of an FA Cup because he clearly has no respect for the competition at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And Ole is very pleased to have advanced in the FA Cup, and he will feel like he changed. Now, before the game, he said that he thought last week that we played too attacking, and I was thinking, I was like, he has to be
I don't know about that, Ollie.
he has to be joking. That has to be a mind game, and I think it absolutely was because he set us up differently. Yes, he brought Bruno out, but the way we played, he drops Pogba deeper. He brings in Van de Beek, so you feel like there's more of an attacking threat in terms of the amount of players you can offer something out there. So,
Yeah.
and it worked. It worked. It absolutely worked, in my opinion. So that sent a message, I think, to Liverpool. I think it's probably if you know Guardiola's watching, it sent a message to him too that hey, you can't play United and expect us to sit back and then hope that we play on the break. Now we can do stuff on our own.
Hmm. And still play on the break. It's still they're threatened by the break.
Yeah, it's we'll still have that as part of it, but then you add a little that extra facet to the game where we can keep possession and create opportunities that way.
Hmm.
That will bother Klopp. I think at the once he reviews this, and I think if Guardiola sees this match, he'll be a little bit concerned too.
Nice.
So the curtain is now closing on the theater of football. Jeremy, unless you have something else to throw at me.
Oh no, I really enjoyed our filming and the discussion today. A lot of similar kind of thoughts and points.
Hmm.
Two interesting differs. Maybe not drastically, but still two interesting differs. We'll see how the next few matches kind of unfold. But I do like the position and the atmosphere and the feel of United right now. So I just look forward to seeing us push on.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing out of the club right now too. Hopefully, like you said, it continues on and we can continue to push towards a title and maybe even a trophy in the FA Cup since we're into the fifth round.
Get that monkey off our back.
That's right. That's right. Get to the semifinal and win it. But then don't lose in the final.
Yeah, don't
Don't
lose
think
there.
you've done it. Yeah.
Uh,
But thank you all for watching, listening to us. Have any thoughts? Hit us up on Twitter at Theater of Football. For Jeremy, I'm Mike. Have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy your week.
Ciao.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.